the last time I can't say the last time we saw you on AEW TV, you were getting knees put through your head, but the last time we saw you preparing for any semblance of action in the ring was almost a year ago. And then we find out this horrible news that you are battling diverticulitis, which, I mean, quite frankly, many wrestling fans only know of via other famous wrestlers having. Like, it's not, it's not a common thing. Explain to me the process of even finding out that this is going on, because I heard that you worked a couple matches and you were really sick.
Yeah. Who knows the amount of matches I had worked in that condition. I had just known that there was something off, and there was something off for quite some time. I'd noticed it in my training. I'd noticed it in the results of my training, or lack thereof. You know, I just felt like I always felt low on energy. I'd felt that no matter what I did, no matter how hard that I would diet, how hard that I would train, nothing was working in the midsection area. And I was feeling, again, like I said, lack of energy. There was sometimes pain in the midsection area. And it felt different than the kind of pain you'd get from, say, you know, working too much abs or eating something that maybe didn't agree with you a little bit. And it got to a point where I was almost immobile. I just couldn't really move. And I would just summon up everything that I would have to show up to the arenas, to do whatever it was that I had to do. And I think near the tail end of things, and you could really see it, there was one in-ring mic segment in particular that I can remember. And I remember just not feeling well. And I thought, like, hey, I need to tell somebody that I'm not feeling good at all. But it didn't feel like a flu. It was different than a flu. It was different than COVID. I tested negatively for COVID. So what was it? I wasn't sure. And because I couldn't figure out an answer, or because I couldn't find anyone who maybe even had an answer, I just thought, okay, I guess I just got to get it done. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror, and my face was pale white. My lips were blue. Something didn't seem right. So I went to makeup and I said, hey guys, I know it's going to sound odd, but can you do whatever you can to make me look more tanned? Because I just feel like I look like a ghost. I don't look good. And so they, did what they do. And I looked a little more tan, and I thought at the moment that I looked maybe healthy. But when I look back at the footage, I just see myself. I'm just not there. I'm gone. My face is pale. My lips are bluish purple. I remember being in the ring, just begging something on the inside. Just don't collapse. Don't keel over. Don't embarrass yourself. Don't ruin this entire thing. But then by being in that condition, I kind of ruined the entire thing anyway. So a blessing in disguise, because that was a big wake-up call for me to finally get some kind of help that I really needed. But yeah, it took quite a lot for me to finally take a step back and then say, yeah, there's something that needs to be done. And I need to do it now, because I can't keep living this way, and I can't keep working this way either.
I believe, I think it was Ethan Page that I had talked to, and he said, yeah, Kenny was not feeling great. He's like, it's miraculous that he got through like what he was doing then even. And then I remember the talking segment that you mentioned, a lot of people were like, Kenny doesn't look like he wants to be there. And they thought it was like story related. And then we find out, oh no, this man, like, quite honestly, you could have died, not to put it morbidly, but you could have died from this.
Yeah.
And when that gets put in perspective for you, like at that point, are you even thinking, what does my wrestling future look like? Or is it more like, what does my life future look like?
It's a bit of both. I've done more than I ever could have dreamed in wrestling. So I was at peace with the thought that if this could spell the end, then would I be happy, or would I be at peace with everything that I've done in the industry? And I had really humble goals for myself. So the answer to that is yes. You know, I'm extremely happy with what I've done, the people I've met, the lives that I've touched, and maybe the lives that have touched me. I'm in a much better place because of the world of wrestling. And, you know, diverticulitis or not, being an in-ring competitor or not, I think wrestling will always be some kind of part of my life, a big part of my life. So, you know, it doesn't spell the end if I'm not an in-ring active performer. There's still things I can do. But in terms of maybe not being able to go out in the way that I wanted to, I don't think many people do get that choice. I don't think there are many people at all that can select how they go out and end up being fine with that and okay with that. I feel like there's always that perfect storybook ending that you search for. And if you don't get it, and you've seen this probably many times before in your time, people will retire and then will unretire over and over,
Sure.
and over and over again, because they're always searching for that Cinderella story or that storybook ending where you're going to get exactly what you wanted and go out in the way that you hope to. And I just think that because of everything that I have done, was able to do, and was blessed enough to accomplish, that if I asked for more, I would just be selfish at this point.
But, to be selfish, I can tell you I was at Sting's final match, and he was the first professional wrestler I ever saw on a screen, and I was like, I got to get more of this. Like, I got to see more of this. And to see like the type of send-off he got, which could not have been more perfect, is a part of you sitting at home and even thinking like, yeah, I've done a lot of stuff and it is great and accomplished these things, but it sure would be nice.
Oh, absolutely. With the way that Sting was able to retire, even in the way that Brian was able to retire. Sure, he had to go out in a loss. There was
and an attempted murder.
Right, a little bit of skullduggery there, and Tom.
A little bit of that.
But yeah, all that being said, sure, he was able to go out with an incredible in-ring performance, and it was nothing short of inspirational. So, to be able to wrestle at the highest level on our current day roster in AEW, to have that kind of performance and to call that your last one, if it indeed is his last performance, I think it's a great way to go out. So in that sense, I would be, if it were over for me, I'd be a little bit jealous of the way Brian was able to go out, even though, like I said, it was on a loss, and it was not the most favorable of circumstances.
So an important question, how are you feeling now? Like, how are you feeling?
Yeah. I say this, I have been saying this for about a year, but it still rings true. It's a very touch and go. I'll have days, and now luckily there's more good days than bad days, but the good days, I feel just like my old self. I feel like I have a lot of energy, maybe not quite as much as I used to. I'm not quite as strong as I used to be, or quite as fast as I used to be, or as explosive, but I'm noticing these improvements, and I'm noticing changes in my body where I'm actually able to make those changes again. Before, it was no matter how much I trained, no matter how much headway that I made in my training, there was just, I never saw that visual change, and I'm actually seeing it again. So I feel like something on the inside is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing, and it's matching what the person on the outside is doing. So I do feel that it's great that by putting the work in, that I'm seeing results on the outside as well. And I'm feeling it too. I'll still have days when, if I train too hard for the week, I might get a day where I wake up with some pain, or I'll wake up feeling like, geez, I can't do anything. And I just listen to myself. I listen to my body at that point, and I think, I'm not going to go against the grain. I'm not going to risk anything. I'm just going to take it easy. And when I do feel like I kick out of this, then I'll get back to it. Then I'll start working hard again. Then I'll start making those steps again to making the comeback. And so far, you get the odd day in here and there when you can't do what you want to do. But I still feel like I'm making progress, and I still feel like it's not too unrealistic to hope for the January 5th comeback.